Hi, and welcome to Planet Watch. We are here with Mary Jane Staudenmann, our resident astrologer and based in Geneva, Switzerland. Hi, Mary Jane.
Hello, hello, Christy. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you. Boy, we've had the holidays, we've had a new year, we've
Had
had,
this wonderful eclipse going on last, the beginning of the end of fall. We're into it now. So yeah, it's been hectic times. It has been hectic times. I'm not sure it's going to get any better very soon, but but at least we'll be cruising into a new energy field, and I think it will already feel much better, much lighter, let's say, as we cruise into the period of Aquarius. Now, the solar ingress, as the sun goes into the sign of Aquarius, is on the 20th of January.
okay, yeah.
And at that time, we're into this energy field that is so different from the Capricorn energy field. Capricorn is earth, it's taking care of material stuff, money and power and minerals and building and all sorts of really basic material earthy concerns.
Right.
Now, as we get into Aquarius, we're in another ballpark. We're in it's an air sign, the fixed air sign.
Mhm.
We're into mental intelligence as opposed to material intelligence.
Right.
There's a lot of mental energy. It's the least emotional sign,
Aquarius
which is,
is.
it is indeed. And so we're not going to see this incredible investment. Everything was so terribly important to get done immediately in Capricorn and so on. As we get into an air sign, they're saying, let's think it over. Let's look at the possibilities. Let's make sure we're on a good mental ground, a good intellectual approach to these extremely important problems that are going on,
Right.
issues that we have.
You know,
So,
as being based here in the United States, we of course are very consumed with the whole impeachment
uh-huh.
saga. And it seems that just within the last day or two, there have been new revelations, new movements. And so I feel like that's exactly the type of thing you're talking about here.
I think so. I think so. It's and also an important movement that went on at the end of the period of Capricorn. Jupiter moved into Capricorn and is taking its place with this huge Saturn-Pluto conjunction that's going there. Now, Jupiter is the judge. It's like, here come the judge. You magnates and you super rich people can yell and scream as much as you want and try to make order, but the people and the law, the legal situation is finally going to have its say.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, going to be a major correction in this incredible power play that we've seen going on during the Capricorn, during these last 6 months, in fact.
Right.
I find it bizarre. We're still here on the 15th of January as we're talking, and I found it odd, not so odd, but unfortunate that the American president decides to kill off, this immediate enemy. Well, let's just get rid of him, instead of, hey, well, let's bring him to justice, or let's try to, talk to the reigning factors on the other side and see if we can maybe use him as a pawn in a more diplomatic and more human, more legalized discussion.
Right.
No, let's just knock him out and then let the chips fall where they may. This is I think the useful part of moving now into Aquarius is that there's going to be a new approach with this Jupiter that's in place. There's going to be another another intellectual approach to these questions, and
Right.
it's not too soon. It's not.
No, none too soon, none too soon. Right. Because these bad guys, they're like Kleenex. You take care of one and there's another one ready
Yeah, just
to,
popping up.
right.
So we're going to talk a minute about what we can expect and what all of us can expect in all sorts of realms in our lives. The Aquarian energy is socially engaged. People, human beings, become more socially interested, not personally interested, but social engagement becomes extremely important. Aquarius is the sign of, for instance, the UN, the Red Cross, the human rights movements. All of these organizations, humanitarian organizations, come under the sign of Aquarius. It's organized emotions, if you will, properly spaced, properly placed emotions. Now you can ask an Aquarian to go out and take care of organizing the UN, organizing camps for refugees and so on. Don't ask him to roll bandages. This is not his scene. We'll get to that next month. But the Aquarian is going to tell you where to put these camps and how to get food in and do all the basic organizational stuff.
Wonderful.
So it's quite different, and he's got a bigger picture in mind than do the rather self-centered Capricorns that we've seen working so hard around us. So Aquarius is a sign of invention. It's a sign of innovation. A lot of very clever electrical people, computer geeks and so on, are really plugged into Aquarius. Innovation is important. Freedom is a very important word for Aquarius. It's this search of personal freedom. Don't get in my space. It's the Aquarian the battle cry. There's a room for a lot of eccentricity in the sign of Aquarius. So we're not looking for run-of-the-mill responses during this period. It's time to get out of the box. It's time to do some new thinking.
Wonderful.
And new communications. Yeah.
Right. Is this true for those who are born under the sign of Aquarius? Here comes my cat.
It's certainly true for them. These are natural-born freedom fighters. These are natural-born marginal types. They're not afraid to get out of the mold. They're not afraid to do their own free thinking, and they don't like being boxed in a corner.
Right. What about those of us who are not born under the Aquarius sign?
Well, now the air signs, for instance, are going to get along very well. That is to say, Geminis, Libras. They understand this. They understand the need for freedom and free thinking. They have probably less problems with Aquarians. I say that. I love Aquarians, but they're just very hard to get close to.
Okay.
They kind of go, come closer, that's close enough. It's that kind of reaction. So you take them for what they can give, which can be extremely generous. They're wonderful social helpers and so on. Fantastic for that. But just, they're not going to be cuddly. So just be careful.
Oh, good to know. Right. So are there any important conjunctions, crosses, or anything we need to be aware of during the Aquarius?
Well, it's time to think about the ruling planets of Aquarius. Saturn is the old, that is to say, the ancient master of Aquarius. Is still used in what they call Hellenistic astrology, also mundane astrology, where astrologers only consider the seven known planets to the ancients before the discovery of Uranus and Neptune and people.
Of course.
So that's important. The new master is Uranus, in fact, which is the planet of surprise, of throwing things over, of new starts, of invention, of innovation. He's not going to leave us alone. He's going to supply surprises to us. When Uranus is in a sign or coming over one's sun, for instance, or another planet, look for things to start happening around. That nothing stays the same as Uranus is doing a transit.
Mm-hmm.
This year, we're in a space that's a bit different in that Uranus is spending these 7 years now in Taurus. So he's already slowed down considerably. Now, this same
Mm-hmm.
approach, as I was saying, getting intellectual thinking going on, an intellectual approach to negotiations, which is right up uh, the Uranian alley, certainly the Aquarian alley, but are slowed down. In the earth signs, we've got time. In Taurus, especially, let's really think it over, because do we really want to change things that much? Taurian births now, people born under Taurus, are just going nuts with this, because Uranus is going through here, and they don't like to change. They don't like to take care of details. They don't like being bothered. And Uranus is going, don't think for a minute that you're going to stay in this comfort zone forever. It's just not going to happen. So they're kind of nervous about all this, but um, on the especially of these negotiations and world movements going on around us, economic movements as well. Uranus is in very nice trine to this new Jupiter, who's saying, all right, let's think this through. Let's get organized legally. Let's get organized within the possibilities that we've got to work with. So I think this place of Uranus, at least for right now, is going to be rather helpful. Slow progress is being made on all domains, economic progress, diplomatic progress as well, but it's just not showing up yet. We've got time. We've got time. And time theoretically is going to be working for us. So that's one thing about this Uranus that's in charge of the situation right now, but he's certainly slowing down progress that we would normally expect in this world view, in this
Right.
place in time.
So
Looking
during
at
Aquarius, what is it a
mm,
good time for us to be doing? What is a good time for us to do during this time? Or maybe what should we slow down on? What should we think about not undertaking during this time too?
well, I've got some rather specific ideas on that due to some other planetary movements. One that came, the usefulness of this Uranus in Taurus is going to be for especially Taurian people who are looking to buying and selling property, who are
Oh,
wanting to set up businesses.
mm-hmm,
This Uranus in Taurus is so pushing to be changing things anyway,
mm-hmm,
and he's giving us some fairly good insights into how to do this gracefully, effectively.
mm-hmm.
Be ready for changes along the way, but which is a good idea for Taurians. It's a time to start something new anyway, and they've got help. Now, this is true for all of the Earth signs, for Taurus and also Capricorn. A little less for Virgo. Virgo's got some other stuff going on that isn't being particularly useful. But certainly Capricornians and Taurians are going to get a big help, big boost in getting some new things started, signing some contracts.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good thing, right?
Anyone interested in investing should be watching the price of copper. We saw this huge gold rise in gold prices last month.
Right.
I'm thinking that as we get into January and February and March,
Mm-hmm.
copper is going to take off as well. Copper, because of this rather interesting Venus that's ruled by Uranus right now. Venus is the master planet of Taurus, of Uranus right now. And so kind of has a last note, but she's putting us in a mood to be buying and selling other minerals, but copper is going to go off the
Oh,
charts.
wonderful. Oh, that's good to know. It's good to
Well, it is. It is. You've got to be careful with all this. And here I want to talk about some more specific things that are going on with other planets
Mm-hmm.
while we're in this period of Aquarius. One that seems important, especially right now, as we're getting next week and in the 2 weeks that are following up, we have a very nice aspect between Mercury and the Moon Mars conjunction. This is going to set up a lot of people's travel plans.
Now, when
All
does
of a
this
sudden,
hit?
where everybody's getting the travel bug.
Right. So when does this hit?
This is essentially in the next 2 weeks.
Okay, great.
Even right now, with 15th of January and beyond, I would say in the next 2 weeks, certainly, it's an excellent time to be lining up travel plans if you've got them.
Right.
Also, educational plans. Some people are going to want to go, do um, uh, a new educational outlet,
Sure.
perfection courses in their chosen fields, or it's just time to start something else. It's
Right.
very, very good anyway of that. Lots of advances in writing projects and communications projects. This is
Oh,
something you're going to want to look into too. Um,
absolutely.
Uranus is the planet, and Aquarius is the sign parallel to the 11th house in astrology that has everything to do with wide band communications. So this is television, this is radio, this is the net, this is all of this that's going on, and we're going to see some important advances in people's personal projects
Oh,
within the realm of communications.
oh, good. Yeah, I know a couple people working on books currently. That would be a good
Yeah,
time for them.
exactly. Might even be, especially as we get a little farther on, an interesting time to be publishing.
Oh, wonderful.
Certainly their writing projects are going to just feel an injection of energy in the
Right.
next few weeks.
Oh, good.
And they can start looking around for publishers, looking around for places to put their work, if in fact
Absolutely.
that's what they have in mind.
Mm-hmm.
This is certainly true through the first half, as I said, up until the first half of Aquarius, up until about the 10th of February.
Good, good, good. All right. Anything you
That's an
should?
important thing. Do you have any questions there? I have one other thing I wanted to talk about. I
Oh,
think
yeah, please go ahead.
um,
Absolutely.
as we're sitting here right now, Venus has made its conjunction to Neptune in Pisces. This is the next sign. But Venus and Neptune are in tight conjunction right now, and this
Mhm.
will continue through the next couple of weeks anyway. Oh, even farther, practically the whole time
Oh,
of
of Pisces.
of of uh, of Aquarius anyway.
Okay.
Then it moves on.
Oh, okay.
But now, what's important here? Venus and Neptune are just, the two lovers. These are the schmoozers. And when they're in conjunction, you want to be in love, and you're very subject to being in love. You'll also want to, take care of all the lost dogs and all the lost people, and some of your choices just aren't tops as far as taking care of your own business. It's an excellent time to be taking care of everybody else's business. It's all of this to say that it's an extremely romantic period, but I'm saying be careful because
Of
these two
course.
planets are in serious square to this Moon Mars conjunction initially. And while those planets are moving pretty fast, for the next couple of weeks, they're going to be very important. And you just have to be careful not to believe everything that everybody's telling you.
Right.
Because you can make some serious errors or wind up in some serious trouble anyway, because you're not being very discerning in
Oh,
your love
okay.
life. Now, the same is true as far as I was saying, you don't sign anything, don't promise anything before St. Valentine's Day. It's
Good
just,
to know.
it's too too risky. A little aside, I've always been very amused by this notion of St. Valentine's Day in Aquarius.
Do
because
tell.
because it's just not a very romantic time, to be proposing marriage and all the rest. I don't know. It gets done, and certainly everyone else is very fond of it. But I've always thought it was a bit iffy. A bit. I certainly wouldn't accept any engagement arrangements for St. Valentine's Day.
I
I'm
have to
saying just,
say, it's always felt a little forced anyway.
yes, true enough, true
Right?
enough. A little bit too mental, a little bit too commercial.
Too commercial,
I'm
yeah.
just saying romances that are starting under this sky need to be given the test of time. Put
Ah,
things off until maybe even Pisces or maybe even the spring. Let's give this the test of time and then see what comes out in the wash.
right, right.
Enough said. Enough said.
Enough said. I think that's a very good point to make about Valentine's Day. Everybody tends to get so excited about the hearts and love and everything, but it always felt a little contrived.
Yes, a little
Personally.
bit. I think we can say that. This same, I have to put it here a little bit on the side, not necessarily anything to do with Aquarius, but I noticed during this period, and especially through the first couple of weeks of Aquarius, that the signs of with this Moon Mars conjunction in mind, my Cancer people, my Leo people, have to be very careful in sports.
Oh, good to know.
It is good to know, especially there's a lot of skiing going on right now, but I'm thinking these
Mm,
people have to be careful where you're putting your feet, that's all. Because very subject to, um, I want to say sloppy thinking. It's this discomfort as you're out on the slopes, let's say, and you choose a ski slope that's not right for you. You're
oh,
out skating or ice skating and you're doing silly things that get you in trouble. And so I want those people, especially the Cancers and Leo folks, just be careful. Be careful especially in practicing sports.
okay, of course. I am Leo, as you
There you
know,
go.
and
There
so
you go.
I would never dream of setting foot on a ski slope at this time or any other time. So
That's good.
we'll be
That's
super
good.
careful.
Okay. Now let me just say, because of this fifth house, I'm looking at the fifth house done here in this particular case.
Right.
And the same is true in one's love life.
Oh,
You're going to be taking chances. You're going to be looking for trouble or very tempted into situations that can quickly become difficult. Difficult.
okay. Good to know.
So, okay, enough said about the doomsday approach to astrology, which is not what I really like to do. But
No, it's
every
not. But
now
it's
and
good
then,
to know what is going to be, what could affect us, and what is a good time to do things, what's maybe not such a good time to do things.
yeah,
Yeah,
well, exactly,
right.
exactly. And as I said, the first couple of weeks in this Ingress, until we get into the middle of part of Aquarius, looks difficult because of this lack of judgment. The second part, let's say after the 7th, 8th, 9th of February, is
Mhm.
going to be much freer in one's choices, in one's actions. Certainly, then we're on a right track, let's say.
Okay, good, 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 good. Well, it's always a good idea just to apply prudence and caution in any given situation.
Sure,
To get
sure. Well,
through.
yes, yes, and
Right,
especially as um, in this period of Aquarius, we're not afraid to take chances. We're not afraid to act
right.
outside of our standard habits. Let's try something new. Let's get some new glasses. Don't- you definitely want to not go clothes shopping under this next full moon anyway, because that can just be very, very dangerous. And you come home with things and you think, oh my God, did I really buy that? Just not healthy.
Okay. Of course, good to know. Good to know. Well, is there anything else we need to know about moving into Aquarius?
um, I think I've pointed out what I had in mind. I think we're all going to be picking up a lot of help from this movement of Jupiter that's going on during this period,
Good.
and who's sort of setting new rules. He's saying, let's
Mhm.
get serious, let's stay anyway within the legal boundaries of what's supposed to be going on, and should be helping in these long-term negotiations.
Good. Good. We will
And
watch
that's,
that.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And this is true in all of our legal dealings. People are wanting to sign contracts, what is again, buying and selling
Right.
property and so on. Now we're getting into a time where things can become possible and even quite desirable and on a right track, which they haven't been for a long time.
Right. Looking forward to things getting on a right track again.
Yes, yes,
Right.
indeed. I think we'll need that help.
Yeah. Right. Getting back to progress. Okay, that's wonderful. Well, super. Mary Jane, thank you so much. I love it when you're able to put, what's going on and what we're seeing in some sort of perspective.
Mhm.
And, there's always hope in any given situation. There's always things to watch out for in any given situation. Any,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
So I think this
I just
information,
want to tell our patrons to look at their own charts, see
yeah,
what's going on. It's always pertinent. These energies are there for us. We've all got a wild Uranus, and we've all got a sign in a house in Aquarius that wants to wake up and shake the walls up a little bit. So use it. Aquarius should be fun, among other things.
absolutely,
Uh, it
absolutely.
can be kind of a joyride. It can be kind of a wild carousel at the Luna Park, but there's room for that too. And it's time to get out of this heavy doldrum of that could be Capricorn, especially this
Right.
year was kind
This is
of grim.
true. This is true. And in our hemisphere, we have the weather on top of that that kind of
Oh,
put the doldrum on everything.
quite right. Well, have fun. Get out your skates, get out your skis, get out whatever you want, but be careful.
Careful. But be careful, right? And I do want to put in one quick plug for event consultations, event readings.
Uh-huh.
So, when we're talking about, good time to buy property, a good time to enter into negotiation, to start a business, to begin a partnership, that type of thing, it's always good to just look at what the atmosphere is, what the astrological climate is. And so I would recommend
Precisely,
anybody who's curious
precisely.
about that to, especially when dealing with another person as well,
Uh-huh,
what
uh-huh,
are
uh-huh.
what are some good dates and some good things to be doing during that time period. So I would
This can
definitely
be
recommend,
awfully useful for
the
sure. And
event charts and then the partnership charts as well.
yeah, yeah, it's a great idea, and I'm glad you mentioned it because we're available for that. And
As
it's always good to see what's going on. Astrology is about timing as well. And if we
exactly.
can, if for elective affairs, I even see a lot of people to set operation dates
Right.
for medical interventions. Certainly signings and other conventions going on between partners. Uh, it's very useful to find a time that's going to be copacetic with everybody. So anyway, we're available for that.
Perfect. Go to radiatewellnesscommunity.com and schedule a consultation with Mary Jane. All right. Thank you so much, Mary Jane. We'll see you again for Pisces.
Yes, I'll see you in Pisces. Have a good time.
You too.